supportive, super helpful. I'm a big fan of Rob DeHaan and his opponent, another person very well known and respected in the community. We have Fungus, and we are off to the races. We're going to ink that Prince Philip 3-cost for Fungus, and down comes that Clarabelle clumsy guest. We are on Emerald Sapphire, so we're looking to ramp up and take advantage of the high end of this deck. On the other side of the board, Rob DeHaan's going to ink a Tipo, which says to us that there probably is a alternative turn 2 ramp, and the little hand flick there. I did see a couple of copies of Sail the Azure at Sea, and the Rafiki Mystical Fighter going to come down and check this Clarabelle. Not going to have to quest anytime soon, but she's not really there to quest, Brent. She is setting up a fantastic shift line into the light on her hooves.
And this is the classic Sapphire move right here. Ramp on 2 with the Sail the Azurite Sea. You will be able to draw an additional card. That other card that hits your inkwell, you can use, which Fungus is using in the form of Develop Your Brain.
Yep, Develop Your Brain. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 into your hand and 1 to the bottom of the deck. So Fungus clearly looking to improve the quality of his hand. We're going to see Rob DeHaan ink Tipo and play that Sail the Azure at Sea, which does allow you to ink an additional time. We're going to see the Iago Giant Spectral Parrot go into the inkwell, and down comes the Royal Guard. Rafiki pretty safe to quest here. Clarabelle not able to deal with this Rafiki, and we are 1 ink away from being, well, 2 ink away, but he can ink for turn here. Basically, we are not able to shift on this turn. It's going to be a inking of Vision. Go on, Brent.
And here comes Cinderella. Fungus off to the exact start that you want. I don't think that there's something better than getting down to Clarabelle on 1, then playing the Sail the Azurite Sea, using the additional ink, and then putting down another card like the Develop Your Brain. And then on the next turn, Cinderella comes down, allows you to put a card into your inkwell and draw at the end of your turn.
Yeah, 100%, and Fungus now sitting pretty with 5 ink. We'll ink up to 6 next turn, but more importantly, we'll have access to the shift if the Clarabelle light on her hooves is in the hand. So Rob DeHaan needs to respect that and probably lower his hand size to take... Oh, wow! Whoa. We're going to ink... we're going to ink the Junior Woodchuck Guidebook. We played Sail the Azure at Sea to do another one, and then we're going to play Into the Unknown on our own Rafiki to help us ramp even more. You love to see it.
Hyper ramp. We are going. Rob DeHaan is saying all gas, no brakes.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Yo,
did I do it right?
You've been studying, haven't you, Brent?
All right, I've been studying the notebook. Donald Duck, Perfect Gentleman, comes down. This is going to allow both players at the start of Fungus's turn to draw an additional card. And Hades, Infernal Schemer, is going to come down. Fungus does not even have to think about it. Says, go ahead and draw. Go ahead and draw. I don't want anything off of my board here. You're developing a wider board. I don't want to see it. Tipo's going to come down, and we are going to use an additional ink here. Rob is saying, you will not outramp me.
And not only that, if you shift into the big Clarabelle, you are not going to be drawing that many cards. Rob doing a fantastic job of diminishing his hand size, now only 2 in hand. So Fungus, if he does shift this big Clarabelle, or actually chooses just to hard summon the Clarabelle, not even shifting, which is still great to establish to the board, but obviously not going to draw as many cards unless you use the Cinderella Dream Come True to sing You're Welcome, and that's going to put 1 card of his choice into Rob's deck. He's going to reshuffle and draw 2 cards, which will take Rob up to 2, meaning that Fungus hopefully going to get a bit more benefit from Clarabelle.
And the biggest part of this combo is that you get an additional draw when you're Rob as Donald Duck, Perfect Gentleman, but then you also are going to draw an additional 2 cards while removing something. However, Fungus is saying, I have my Clarabelle light on her hooves on board. As soon as the turn is over, I will get to draw the same amount of cards you have in hand, turning the downside into an upside.
And you talk about downsides, I think we're probably not too far away from, is there a downside to this in the form of Hades Infernal Schemer? We do have the ink, but does Rob have it in hand? That would be a nice, clean answer to the Clarabelle. And don't forget, Brent, this Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman on Fungus's board will allow both players to draw a card at the beginning of Fungus's turn in the set phase of Ready, Set, Draw, as is the tradition in Disney Lorcana trading card games.
But if you don't have a way to get rid of this Clarabelle, do you even want to keep drawing all of these cards, just fueling Fungus's hand?
Yep, absolutely. You've got, like, both players clearly showing a good understanding of what the opponent wants to do. And hey, this is the top 4 of the Disney Lorcana Challenge. These are experienced pilots. They know their decks. They know the meta. And again, it's open deck lists anyway. So both players got the opportunity to look at the full list from their opponents. So there will be no complete surprises. Both players well equipped to deal with the coming storm.
And as you can see, we do not have a timer. Now that we are in to the semifinals, there is no timer. These players can really think through their decisions. If you're wondering why Rob is taking so much time, it's because he wants to utilize the resource that you don't have for most of the matches, the time.
The clock, yeah, it's absolutely something that players really do need to learn to use effectively if they're going to maximize their potential in the Disney Lorcana trading card game. Again, when there is a clock, there can be arguments to maybe scooping game 1 or game 2 if you know that things aren't going your way and you need the time to get through that third game. But here, not necessarily the clock that we need to worry about, just making sure that we're making the correct decisions. And we are going to see that Demona, betrayer of the Wyvern clan, come down. She's going to exert the entire opposing board, and both players drawing up to 3. Fungus already at 4 cards, so nothing to be drawn there. And of course, this Royal Guard does get Challenger 1 for every card drawn.
He is heavily armed. I believe if my math is right, you drew once for turn. You then drew 2 off of the Demona. Rob, unfortunately, not able to empty his entire hand to get the full benefit of the 3 cards. But now we can, yeah.
Yep, so the Palace Guard the Royal Guard was hitting for 4, going into the Donald Duck, which has 2 5-stat lines, so that's going to banish, we're going to banish ourselves, but put 4 damage on Donald, and then the T-Po, I think it was the T-Po that was the extra challenger there, is going to finish off the job, which again, Donald Duck representing extra card draw, but also another singer on the board. Of course, Fungus has other singers, but the more you can do to keep those singers at bay, the better.
And not the ideal turn. You would probably rather see Hades' Infernal Schemer there to really put away this Clarabelle Light on her hooves. This is going to be an issue, maybe not right now, but if Rob can't find a way to get rid of it, he's going to have to minimize his hand size, and that's not what you want to do with the Blurple strategy.
No, absolutely not. Rob DeHaan rocking Blurple. I know that this is a in combination he's been enjoying throughout Whispers in the Well meta. Fungus is going to ink John Silver and say, hey, you didn't like my Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman, huh? Here's another one.
And another one. Mother Knows Best comes down, and we bounce back that Demona, Scourge of the Wyvern clan. And Rob's board is looking mighty, mighty empty right now with a lone T-Po standing there.
Just the one growing boy facing down an army of cows, ducks, and Cinderella.
And one big princess.
One big princess.
This is not the dream come true for Rob DeHaan, but it might be for Fungus. And now the question is, do we quest out the Clarabelle? Is there a danger? I suppose that there is the Into the Unknown that could be used, so you want to keep the Clarabelle up. That will slow down the clock of Fungus just a bit, but as you can see, he's getting a lot of value out of this Clarabelle Light on her.
Yeah, I think this shows some remarkable patience and restraint from Fungus. Again, like that feels like a relatively easy quest.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we got Hades, Infernal Schemer coming down. We were just talking about it, and I believe that must have been the top deck. Why not play it the turn before? What a top deck for Rob DeHaan.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Exactly what Rob wanted to see there, and I still respect Fungus's play there. Again, could have been a very easy quest there with the Clarabelle, but as you say, something like Into the Unknown could have... we're going to see the Malicious, Mean, and Scary.
And followed up by the Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes. This 6/6 evasive threat is not only going to quest for 3, but will vanquish and banish all characters on Rob's side of the board that have damage on them, which, once you sing Malicious, Mean, and Scary, put a damage counter on each one. That is the Wombo Combo Emerald Sapphire.
Yeah, the Philip sweep, of course, Malicious, Mean, and Scary, placing damage, not dealing damage, and it affects all characters you do not choose. So Malicious, Mean, and Scary is exactly what it says on the tin, especially when combined with the Vanquisher of Foes. We're going to see the Dumbo, 9th Wonder of the Universe, coming down onto the board, and followed up by another Demona that's going to exert the entire board. Rob drawing some more cards, and hey, drawing cards is king. Playing Demona and sticking a big body is great, but this is not the ceiling for Demona. Really, you want to establish a wide board of characters yourself. The Demona comes down, you exert the opponent, and then you break the board. Hey, still great to play the Demona, but not the ceiling that this card can achieve.
Plus, what do you do when Rob has the double Malicious, Mean, and
But look at Rob's
Scary?
face. Look at Rob's face. No emotion. And like, not a hint of annoyance, anger, nothing. Just absolutely locked in on another level, as our friend JDZ would like to say. I'm impressed.
This is the grit that you see from these TCG players. Rob DeHaan sitting here just thinking about the next move, not letting it affect him at all. This board is getting scary. I got to tell you, if that were me sitting in Rob's chair, I would be making at least a face here. But maybe the face was not given because Rob knew that as soon as he turned it sideways, he could into the unknown, which would put the Prince Philip into the inkwell of Fungus.
It's all part of the plan. But this Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes, man, what an impact it has had on our set 10 metagame. Ever since we got Malicious, Mean and Scary, Philip reprinted in Fable. We're going to ink Iago, play down the Elsa. That's going to exert the Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes. Elsa going to take that rush into Clarabelle, taking her out quite cleanly, taking 1 damage, and then a pass over.
Not even the holiday, but here we go. We're going to draw an extra card off of Donald Duck, Perfect Gentleman here, and Fungus has everything. He's ahead on the lore. Look at this, it's 11. He has 6 lore on board. He can get to 17 this turn as another Clarabelle, Light on Her Hooves, comes down. Now, Rob barely has any cards in hand, but I think Fungus is saying, I'm just going to rush out as many characters as I possibly can. You go ahead and try to find a way to deal with me, because Blurple struggles with the wide board clear, especially when there's not a lot of large-statted, large-strength characters on the side of Rob DeHaan that he could then draw into a Demona, exert everything. There's not really a lot of options. Oh, as you're welcome, takes away the genie as well, and the Mother Knows Best hits the... Was that the Palace Guard?
I think it was, yeah, no, just this. I was saying earlier, it's important to keep your opponent's singers in check because there are so many powerful songs that can offset the tempo. Mother Knows Best bouncing back to hand, You're Welcome shuffling back into the deck and making them draw cards, which synergizes with Clarabelle. And Rob DeHaan says, yep, that'll do it. And we're going to be going to game 2. Already a banger. Important to note, Fungus on the play for that game, and I think that definitely come in handy. But we're already off to the races with game 2. I think that was an Iago Giant Spectral Parrot inked, and down comes the Royal Guard.
The Octopus Soldier. Fungus, in the meantime, will use the Develop Your Brain, look a card deeper, in fact 2 cards deeper, choose one, choose the other to put down the bottom of the deck. And Sell the Azurite Sea, the classic ramp, but nothing to play with 1.
Yeah, we find our ramp, we ink the additional card, the Iago, but nothing to play with that 1 ink, but not the priority. We just want to get up to that high inkwell threshold where our deck can start to thrive with Hades, etc., etc. We're going to ink the Clarabelle for Fungus and take a look into the future, Brent.
Oh, no. That actually is an ink off of the Sell the Azurite Sea.
Oh, okay. I thought he was looking to dig into the deck.
Right.
But
I'm sure he wishes he had enough ink to do so, but with just the 1, and yeah.
Yep,
You all see what I'm saying.
Absolutely. We're going to ink the Bell and the Elsa, and down comes the inexplicable Cheshire Cat, who, again, another card that's made a lot of impact. What you seeing, Brent?
And once again, Fungus has one of the ideal starts. You want to have the Sail the Azurite Sea on 2, you want to ink additionally, and then you want to have the Cinderella the next turn, and Fungus did the exact same thing. Inked an additional card, drew a card for it, now passed back to Rob. That turn happened so fast, we got the genie down, and now we have the double Cinderella. Dreams come true. We're going to be able to do it twice, Baker.
Yeah, that is huge, because these Cinderellas do trigger each other. You played the Princess, so both Cinderellas allowing Fungus to ink any card from his hand, draw a card, and then ×2. We're going to see the Dumbo Ninth Wonder of the Universe from Rob DeHaan, taking advantage of the Making History ability with that genie to game 1, draw 1, and now we're looking to go wide, and suddenly Rob is looking in control of this board. But for how long, Brent? Because Fungus has the good ink. He has a singer for Malicious, Mean and Scary.
Oh, no! The Prince Philip comes down, and the Malicious, Mean and Scary is sung by the Cinderella. Dreams come true, and Fungus's dreams are coming true. Cinderella living up to the name. We have 5 lore on board. What is Rob going to do? The top deck of Hades Infernal Schemer. We're going back and forth.
Insane. This Prince Philip has no business questing for 3, Brent. I'm sorry. It just doesn't.
Evasive to boot.
Exactly. I was just saying, Rob are looking to be fully in control of this board state, a wide board of characters, Cheshire Cats, etc. But Fungus, all he needed was the 9 ink and the Cinderella to be able to sing the song, and suddenly it's just a completely different game.
And even though this Clarabelle light on her hooves is going to come down, it really doesn't matter because Rob doesn't have any cards in hand. Royal Guard coming down on the side of Rob, not the card that you want to see here, but 2 Donald Duck Perfect Gentlemen here. And Fungus is going to say, you want to draw 2 additional cards? That's great. You're only feeding me.
You are feeding me all of those cards. Sorry, how many cards do you have in your hand? Yeah, I mean, I think we have that many cards in our hand. And
right.
There is the draw, passing back over to Rob. Yeah, again, full respect to Fungus. He's played an incredible game of Lorcana all weekend. But man, this is the Stone Cold Buckies that's going on right here. Fungus seeing absolutely everything.
The Stone Cold Buckies, I love that. All right, Rob is going to draw a couple extra cards here off of the Donald Duck. We're going to see what Fungus does. The game is, I believe, being sped up just a teensy bit here so that we can catch up, but this is the semifinals. We're going to be witnessing a phenomenal match either way, but it is a little bit of hurry up and let's go. Basil!
I love this Basil. My favorite Disney film, and this card finding half and home in these decks. On play, you may bounce a character to that player's hand, and if you quest Basil, you discard a card randomly from your opponent's hand. Absolutely love it. And down comes another Cinderella, which means that both these Cinderellas are again going to trigger. We're going to go on a whole lot of questing. There's a whole lot of lore.
That is a whole lot of lore in the counts of 7, if I'm not mistaken. But the Basil and the extra Cinderella are going to quest for 10. Fungus has 10 lore on board. We have 1 lone genie on the side of Rob. And just like that, even on the draw, Fungus is firmly in control of this game.
Yeah, I don't know what Rob can do to really break this. Of course, you can find a little bit of breath by maybe finding some Hades. No, and that's just going to be it.
It's just going to be done.
Dunzo, Fungus taking it 2-0.